Hello students, today we discuss about the sliding contact bearing. We already see basically there are two different types of bearings, that is rolling contact bearing and sliding contact bearing. As in rolling contact bearing, rollers are present, so it is called as rolling contact bearing. This rolling contact bearing is also called as anti-friction bearing because friction is less in case of that bearing, but in sliding contact bearing friction is large. To avoid that friction or to minimize that friction, here large amount of lubricant is provided. If we see the basic parts in the sliding contact bearing, then here this portion is called as journal, then this is the bearing, this portion is the lubricant. If the journal and this bearing is up to 360 degree in contact, then this type of bearing is called as full journal bearing. And if contact is partial, then if we consider this is journal and this angle is 120 degree, then this type of bearing is called as partial journal bearing. Here some clearance is present between this journal and the bearing. If we see the third type, then here the journal and bearing having the same radius, so this angle is, if we say 120 degree, then this type of bearing is called as fitted journal bearing. According to the thickness of layer of the lubricant between the bearing and the journal, it may be classified as follows. So according to the thickness of lubricant it is classified into 4 different types. So first type is thick film bearings, second is thin film bearings, third type is zero film bearings, and next type is hydrostatic. In case of this thick bearing if the thickness between this journal and the bearing is maximum, that is during the operation if contacts between journal and bearing is not takes place, then this is called as thick film bearings. In case of thin film bearings, if slight contact takes place at the time of operation, then it is called as thin film bearings. In case of zero film bearings, if the lubricant is absent, then contact takes place between journal and the bearing, so this is called as zero film bearing. And last type is hydrostatic bearing. In this case, it can support the steady loads without any relative motion between the journal and the bearing. So this is about the types according to the thickness of lubricant. Thank you.